Hello, friends. Welcome back. Glad you were able to join me today. I'm Atunde, and this is yet another episode. And I first want to start off by thanking you all for joining me, for finding value in the resources that you find here, in the information that I share, in stories being life lessons, and how to gather the data, right? How do we collect our stories as the life lessons and learn from those lessons to be better, to be well, and to be liberated? Friends, I first and foremost want to thank my subscribers. I see you all. I appreciate you all for being here. I thank you for finding time in your day to listen, to watch. If you're in the car, don't watch me while you're driving. Okay? But however you share in this information, I want to say thank you. I really appreciate you. I'm humbled by you being a part of this journey, my journey. And I wanted to acknowledge you. Share it with someone else. If you find this information valuable, I'm sure someone you love, someone you care about, may find this information valuable as well. So share Atunde's story with them. I'm on YouTube. I have my website as well as Facebook and Instagram, and all of that's in the description here. Friends, today we want to talk about or introduce the idea of how to be well. In the last set of videos, I talked about what's in a name. I talked about naming also is coupled with defining as well as defending that name. But in the process of naming, defending, and defining, we show up more whole and complete, which is a state of wellness, as I define it. For me, I first went on the journey to wellness when I started writing my dissertation. Friends, I was a young woman in backstory. I'm from New Orleans, born and raised, and I experienced Hurricane Katrina. And during Hurricane Katrina, as many of my other brothers and sisters have as well, we were displaced. And I think about the displacement as a blessing because it shifted me from my comfort zone of being complacent in my life. So although Hurricane Katrina for some, and I do acknowledge that for some of us, Hurricane Katrina was a detriment. There was loss. It was traumatic. And I honored that. But also, Hurricane Katrina for me was a shift. It was a call for me to wake up, to get my attention, because I was not living my life. I was allowing my life to live me, or just existing, letting the horses run ahead of me. My stagecoach is just moving rather than me grabbing a hold of the reins and guiding them to where I wanted to be. So I'm grateful for what the hurricane brought me, because in the winds of the hurricane, I experienced transformation. I experienced a deeper sense and awareness of who and what I was. Didn't know quite full well what I was in the beginning, but there was awakening that says, hey, I did not die, so I want to live and live more fully. And that's what Hurricane Katrina did for me. So keep in mind, I didn't have a clue of what wellness was, or what I wanted it to be for me, right? So that was the beginning of my journey to wellness. And I'm grateful because I'm still discovering what wellness is. And I'm excited because it has been like, okay, I love sweets. Love sweets. And for me, wellness has been like walking into my favorite shop of sweets. Now keep in mind, some confectionery geniuses put all kinds of stuff and name it, this is sweet and all of this extra stuff. So mind you, I'm in their place of business and their shop, and wellness for me has been about tasting all of these confectionery blissful deliciousnesses. That's a word because I just made it up. But in my journey, I figured out, hold up, I don't like this. This does not match my palate. Okay, I tried it. I can check that off. But I don't need to have that again. But oh my God, I need this every day. I must partake in this every day. So for me, wellness has been like finding the sweetest, most tasteful piece of something that I didn't know what my life was missing until I discovered it. And I want you to have that same type of discovery in your own life. Tasting certain things, like you get the box of chocolates, and no, we are not talking about Forrest Gump today. I know we talked about the Little Mermaid in the other video, but you know the reference. Life is a box of chocolates. You never know what you get until you bite into it. Kind of, sort of. I'd agree with him there. But our wellness journey doesn't happen until we step into it. So let me share with you how I stepped into my wellness journey. I lost my mind. Friends, I was so confused. I was so frustrated and anxious and cried. And what am I doing? What, right? But I had to go through that. And that state for me is what I call chaos. Because without the chaos, that spinning of the hurricane, in the eye of the storm is where the calm is. So my chaos, I'm like confused, anxious, depressed, sad, mad, frustrated. But when I started to close in and go into myself, there was a calmness that started to happen, as if I stepped into the eye of the storm, where there was peace, where there was calm, the aha moment in the eye of the storm for me. And as I gathered my peace, my calm, my aha moments, my greater sense of awareness, there was more clarity. So in my dissertation, I wrote about chaos, clarity, and calm. Because for me, it allowed me to kind of inventory. Remember, I talked about the cells, and sometimes watching them spin like the hurricane. And as I listened to their stories, I needed to understand what is happening. Understanding the chaos, which allowed me to get into the eye, sometimes quicker than others, to get the gem, to get the lesson, because the lesson is inside of your calm. And then there's clarity. You know what to do, what not to do, how to move, how to be when there's clarity, because you are clear within yourself. So I write about those things in my dissertation. And then I started noticing the patterns of chaos, clarity, and calm that had happened in my life, because I thought Hurricane Katrina was my first hurricane. But then I realized that I had been going through hurricanes my entire life. Still do sometimes. I was like, whoa, this is a hurricane. Still to this day. So I started to understand the cycle of wellness for myself. Because yes, wellness it comes in cycles for me. So the cycle looks like this. Because there was a need of a stirring, a call for my attention. Chaos was defined as a call to awareness, because I was not paying attention to something. I was not living up to my fullest state of wellness. I was comfortable in my brokenness and not gathering the data from that trauma to be well. So chaos had to come and shake things up. Once I got over the frustration or the anxiety or the depression of the chaos, and started to ask deeper questions about, why is this happening? Why does this keep reoccurring in my life? Why do I keep experiencing the same thing? As I asked the deeper question, because remember, I went and got my voice back. And then my voice was asking a deeper question. So yeah, I started digging real deep. What is this? How is this relevant? What am I missing? What's the lesson? Calm. Because I took my eye off of the chaos and focused on what matters. Because if you do not get the lesson, you're bound to repeat it. That's my story anyway. And I did not want to repeat certain lessons, friends, because I did not find value in spinning in the same hurricane. So, as I asked these deeper questions, calm, it was stepping into the I, going within, sitting in stillness and listening to myself, to my spirit, to the spirit. Side note, when I talk about spirit, there are multiple ways that I talk about spirit. Friends, I do not focus on any particular religion or spiritual practice. I make room for you to define, name, and defend those for yourself. I share my story and let you dig out what's good for you. But when I name spirit, spirit for me, think small s, big S. Small s is your spirit. That part of the God self, or however you name it, cosmos, universe. Friends, we name whatever is bigger than us by the name that we choose, and I honor the name that you choose. But for me, it is spirit, big S. But my spirit, small s, is the divine connection that lives inside of me. That is my connection to, almost tethered, knotted, tied, tangled, chained to the spirit, big S, the Godness, something that is greater than me. Which brings me to the concept that has been valuable in the process or cycle of transformation that is wellness, chaos, clarity, and calm. And one of my states or cycles of transformation, going through the process of chaos, clarity, and calm, I began to understand more deeply what spirit, little s, and spirit, the spirit, big S, meant to me. And my aha moment was, I am that thing, although in a small portion. I am that thing. That has been downloaded into me, shared with me, created of the sameness, but also unfathomable, limitless, boundless, the thing, right? So although I am of that energy, because for me, spirit is energy, it's vibration, it's connection. I have that. I get to claim some of that, but also I get to tap into it. Okay? So, understanding my cycles of transformation, when there was clarity, the third step, that's when my shift had to happen for me to be well. Because in my deeper sense of awareness, my clarity, I had to move differently because I understood myself differently. Friends, as you understand your process of transformation, because you are becoming, you are well to be well as you become well. I'm going to say that again. You are well now, in the present moment, to be well as you revisit your past, extract the lessons, gather the data, love on yourself, grace as you grow, to be well in the future states that we seek out, right? So we have to maintain at the level of wellness. Because now your new awareness, your clarity, has given you a new awareness, whether that's physically. Like I said, I'm an 8:30, 9:30 bedtime kind of girl because I'm an early riser. In a new state of awareness, I had to shift. I couldn't be up. Look, first of all, my body was saying, okay, you want to play with me? I'm going to shut you down. You not even gonna. You ever went to sleep and didn't even realize that you were sleeping, and you woke up and you had been sleeping for 30 minutes or maybe all night? And it's like, wait a minute, I didn't mean to go to sleep on the sofa. Don't play with yourself. Your body will shut you down. Just like when you are not well physically, wellness is a knowing. You know when you are well, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically. Nobody have to tell you when you're sick. Some of us can look, you need to go lay down. We know it, right? Sometimes we need that. But when you're not well physically, you know. You got a fever, got your throat scratching. Nobody has to tell you that you're not well. As you develop in your holistic wellness, you're going to begin to recognize states when you are not well. And for me, I recognize states of unwellness because remember, wellness is a knowing viscerally. I felt my unwellness physically in my body when my spirit wasn't well, when my emotions weren't well. I felt them in my body. It was almost like this switch happened. If I said something that I knew I should not have said because it was not for my wellness, I was in the company of someone that did not honor and respect my wellness. I knew it. Because that awareness, that clarity, you cannot go back. Movie buff, you know it. Matrix. Some of us have seen the trilogy. I love it, by the way. It's like taking the red or the blue pill. And the red pill is your awakening, spiritually, emotionally. But it is your connection or reconnection, plugging in back to yourself and tethering to the spirit. Big S. Your wellness is connected holistically to all of you. It allows you to eat, to be well. It allows you to sit, meditate, pray, cry, be in community, to be well. It allows you space from people and situations that are not beneficial to your wellness. But it comes through the process as you learn yourself. For me, it's the chaos, clarity, and calm, that cycle of transformation that allow new awareness, self-discovery to come in. Friends, wellness can be defined by actions. We have the trends, do these things for your wellness. We have a lot of books out that people talk about what it means to be well. But I argue those things are necessary tools, but only you can define what wellness means for you. I could read as many magazines and books and have people speak, at me, on me, to me. But until I was able to define what wellness meant for me, I felt that because I was allowing other people's ideas of wellness to be the naming, defining of wellness for me, it was chaotic. Because my spirit was saying, listen to me. I know what's best for us. I know how to be well. Have a seat. Take some notes. This is how we be well, right? I support other people's ideas of wellness. But on my journey, what I found for me, I had to define, name, and defend what wellness was. Because friends, I have early on in my journey to wellness allowed other people's definition of wellness to sit on me. And I was unwell, even seeking out wellness. Right? Because it wasn't until I defined it for me that I was able to take in other people's perceptions and opinions of what wellness could be, not what it is for me. Eat the meat, throw the bone away. Because wellness is a journey, you get to choose wellness for yourself. And on your journey, you're going to collide with other ideas of wellness, like you're doing here. But you get to define it for yourself. I did. I encourage you to do that too. So, just to recap, I want to make sure that there are several points that are clear. Wellness is a knowing, friends. It's not just by definition. Wellness is a deep knowing that once you know it, you may not even be able to speak it, but you feel it. It lives. It is a living part of you, and you will do everything in your power to maintain it, because wellness is a feeling like none other. I've been in places where, for me, the exterior space was a mess. Just a mess. But I was well within myself, that I was able to capture, hold, and breathe in my wellness. So although all hell was breaking loose around me, I was well, calm. I know my process because I understood. There was clarity. I knew who I was. Clarity. It matters. But wellness, friends, also needs barriers, borders, and bridges. In the last video, I talked about barriers, borders, and bridges as boundaries, right? The word boundaries for some is a harsh term. You know, I have set boundaries. Why we do that? Roll the neck. Sometimes we have to. I'm just going to say that. But boundaries is not a shutting in. It's a pushing away, right? Boundaries are not for you. Boundaries are for others. Other things, other thoughts, other people, all of that otherness that is detrimental to your wellness. So boundaries in the form of borders, hey, do not cross this. I have set this boundary. Don't call me after 9. I don't answer my phone after 9 o'clock because that is my wellness time. Unless it's an emergency. And I know because of the relationships that I have with other people that I've spoken that you got to speak your boundaries. How else are we going to know what your boundaries are if you don't speak them? I won't eat this. I don't say this. I won't go here, right? Know your boundaries. Speak your boundaries. Your boundaries are there for you to establish your wellness. Borders. I can go all the way to here. That's my border. The border on the other side of there is a new territory. That border set up as a marker. You ever been driving from a state to another state and it says now you're leaving? Your border lets you know when you're leaving your boundary. You get to choose how and when and where you leave your boundary. But also bridges. I like bridges because bridges establish who can come in to your territory, who gets to cross over, who gets to reside for a while or for a lifetime. Your bridges are your connections, your relationships, those people, communities, your tribe. They get to cross your bridge because they respect and honor your boundary. They know that your wellness is centered in your boundaries. They know your boundaries because you've spoken your boundaries. Hey, listen, this right here bothers me and this is why. They respect it. So boundaries are good. And boundaries consist of borders, barriers, and bridges. Okay? Wellness without boundaries is a dangerous state to be in, friends. Because in your greatest sense of awareness, after your process of transformation has happened, you'll be able to understand your process of awareness, right? Your awareness calls for boundaries now because you have to, you have to reintroduce yourself as this new person. Once you have become something new, you are no longer able to operate in the old state of being, but also you cannot allow others to operate with you or in your presence as they knew you. So think about it this way. This is how I've thought about it. I've had to reintroduce myself to the people that I care about because they knew me, right? They knew me, or they thought they knew me, but they did, right? Streams of consciousness here. I had to reintroduce myself to those people because I was something new, someone new. And the way that you introduce yourself, actions, right? Having a clearing conversation. And friends, in the next video, because we're almost at our time here today, I'll talk about wellness strategies that I've developed over the years and give explicit ways in which I've used my wellness strategies, because I'm naming some of them here, but I think that it is valuable for you to know how I've defined them and function and use, right? But all of these things are necessary to maintain and sustain your wellness. Friends, recap. In your cycle of transformation, understand your process. Lean into your process. For me, my process, chaos, clarity, and calm. I wrote about it in my dissertation because it gave me an understanding of who I was, who I am, and who I want to be. Wellness is a knowing. Whether you can name it yet, define it, you will, but you know it. It is little s for me connected to big S. My spirit connected to the spirit. That knowing is like this awakening. It's this energy. It's this vibration. It's this shock to the system. It says, ooh, yes, give me more of that. I like what this wellness is. On a last note, I talked about when the cells, my T6 and 60, showed up for me at the beginning stages of my wellness. And T6 is my past, my younger self, Tiffany 6, and T60, my future self. And I remember writing a part of a message that I got from my future state, right? T60. Because, like I said, she was amazing, right? I was like, I want to be you, girl. Share your secrets, what you're using on your skin, what are you eating, who you friends with, right? T60 leaned in, and it was the most profound message that I had heard, and I want to read it to you. It makes me well up, because for me, I felt like I was chasing a destination, because for me, Tiffany 60, and those of you that don't know, Tiffany is my legal name, the name that was given to me at birth. But Atunde is my chosen name because we've returned. That's what Atunde means. T60 for me was a destination. But I had forgotten that wellness is a journey. She was my representation of wellness because I felt I wasn't well. I wasn't well. But I was well because I had this new state of awareness. Remember, I am well. To seek out the jewels and the data from that trauma from the past to become well. But what she said to me, for me, it was revolutionary. Because tell me your secrets and tell me how to get there. How do we become well? And she said, I don't become without you. Without you now, I'll never be. Because every realization, every aha, every time you take a moment to step out of the chaos, lean in, is another checkpoint, is another moment that you become what you see in me. She said, I am you. And without you, there is no me. So friends, if there is a future you that you see, you're that right now. Because without you, she or he never get here. So enjoy the journey. Lean into your wellness. Be gentle with yourself. Remember, grace with your growth. Because the more you lean into it, the sweeter it gets. Even in the frustrating times and the sad times, in these moments of, wow. When you lean into it, the lessons come faster. And each lesson gets sweeter and sweeter because you start to be like, oh my God, I get it. I get it. So now I get to use this to be well. Friends, I no longer wish as much as I did because T60 is fabulous. Don't get it twisted. But I enjoy the attuned that I am now. Imperfectly perfect for me and my tribe and the relationships that I have because we vibrate on the same frequency. Our relationships are full. We are all complete or we're working on it diligently. Be your best self today and watch what unfolds. I want to thank you again for sharing your time with me. If you find this content valuable, share it with someone you love. I'm sure that they'll find value in it as well. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and share this content. That lets YouTube know that you support small content makers, content creators like myself, and helps to generate more. Keep us going. Friends, I love you. If no one said that to you today, know that I love you. I care. You matter. I appreciate you. I thank you again for sharing your time with me. I'm Atunde, and this has been my story. Have a wonderful day.